Hello and welcome to Hidden Video Game Details, the series that aims to show you the things that you may have missed in your favourite games and that I think are really cool. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy these videos and be sure to leave your suggestions in the comments down below. Now, in the last episode of this series, we took a look at Left 4 Dead 2, and more specifically the fact that when the game begins, the survivors didn't know what to call the special infected. As you played through the game, the survivors would come to learn the names of the infected. But I didn't do a great job of showing that happening. So here we are. In the second part of Left 4 Dead 2's first campaign, you can actually hear the survivors discussing what each of the special infected is called.
Saw a report on most of these. They're called hunters.
Alright.
They've been calling those boomers, for obvious reasons.
So that's a boomer, huh? You know it's sad to see an eating disorder get out of control like that? Hey, do we need to hit him in the head?
Well, on the news they call them smokers.
So that's a smoker, huh? That is popular with the lady zombies.
Look out!
I think they call jockey.
So that's a jockey, huh? Cute little guy. They've been calling those things spitters.
That is one ugly asshole.
Like I said in the original video, this kind of world building is awesome and makes me wish that Valve could count to 3. So in most games, the pause screen is a safe haven. No matter what is happening in a single player game, you know that pressing pause will stop the action. Now I have heard rumours of an SCP game that would unpause itself for you, but other than that we can all agree that pause screens are a comfort blanket. Well, it seems that nobody told Bendy secrets of the machine. If you leave the game paused for what is admittedly a pretty long time, this will happen. Oh, and jump scare incoming. So after a while, your quiet time will be interrupted, and you'll be killed in the pause screen, which just isn't cool. Now on the surface of things, Another Crab's Treasure looks like your typical cutesy 3D platformer, but looks can be very deceiving. The term Souls-like is given to a subgenre of games that are known for their high levels of difficulty. And believe it or not, Another Crab's Treasure is a Souls-like. The game can be brutally punishing if you don't know what you're doing. And in my experience at least, you'll need to get used to seeing this screen a whole bunch of times. Well, not wanting to put people off with its deceptively difficult gameplay, the team behind Another Crab's Treasure added a whole menu of assists that players like me can use to even the odds. These options range from having enemies do less damage to not losing resources when you die. If things are still proving too much, you can just toggle Give Krill a Gun, which does exactly what you think it does. So equipping the gun makes Another Crab's Treasure a breeze, and I know that some people will hate that it's even included in the game at all, but I think it's nice to give players the option to use it or not. Oh, and if you were wondering, here is what a boss battle looks like when using the gun. Now, if you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know that I love a good idle animation, and Another Crab's Treasure has one of the best. If you leave Krill idle, eventually this will happen. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that is a pretty bog standard idle animation. And you're right. What makes this so cool is that the green thing that Krill is playing with is actually a heart kelp pod, which is how Krill heals in game. Now before starting the animation, you can see that I had 3 heart kelps in my inventory, but when the animation starts, Krill will actually use one of these to play with. The final cherry on top of the cake is the fact that when you stop the idle animation, Krill will drop the heart kelp, forcing you to pick it back up. I don't know about you, but I think this is really, really cool. Now, the main currency of Another Crab's Treasure is rubbish. And no, that's not me criticising the game's economy. The ocean is full of discarded junk, both in-game and in real life, and in-game you can use certain pieces of junk as shields or as upgrades. Well, one piece of junk that serves no purpose other than to make me laugh is the lid from a tub of margarine. The margarine is called "I swear to God, if this isn't butter, I'm seriously going to lose it." Now, I don't know if this brand of spread was available elsewhere, but here in the UK we have a brand called "I can't believe it's not butter," which is margarine that apparently tastes so good that you'd think it was regular full fat butter. That's not where the joke ends though. On your travels, you can find the rest of the container, the back of which contains a very funny description. It's a little hard to make out, but if you want to read it for yourself, and I highly recommend that you do, then pause the video now. Now, in the last episode of my video game Easter egg series, we covered the reference-packed Trail Out. The game is obviously a racing game, but it's also a game where destroying your opponent's cars is applauded. After taking out another racer's wheels, you'll sometimes see your rival climbing from the wreckage that you just caused. And well, you can do this. So you can really rub salt into the wound and actually run over your rival. I mean, in my defense, if you're just going to stand in the middle of a racetrack, you're asking for trouble. Now, this next game is way more fun than it has any right to be. Buckshot Roulette is a game where you sit down with a dealer and try to work out if pointing a shotgun at yourself is the right move. Now, when you begin a game, you have to sign a waiver. And as far as I can tell, you can name yourself pretty much whatever you like, apart from two names in particular. So the first name that is off the table is Dealer, which kind of makes sense as you are facing off against the dealer. The other name is God, which may confuse some of you. Well, as you play Buckshot Roulette, you can find a contract signed by God, which seems to indicate that God has played against the dealer before, hence why you cannot possibly be God. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, and perhaps there's a whole bunch of names that you can't pick, but these are the only two that I found so far. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I uploaded a video covering some of the really cool details found in the Fallout games. In that video, I said this. Now, in Fallout 76, there doesn't really seem to be as many skeletons as previous Fallout games. Well, it turns out that I was wrong. Very wrong. Over on Twitter, Singe Inferno shared a playlist with me of all the skeletons that they had found in Fallout 76. And because I love to create work, I decided to load up Fallout 76 and record a couple of these myself. Now, if you visit the fun fair, you can find a whole bunch of skeletons of people who were enjoying a day out before the bombs dropped. I mean, there's even a chance one of these skeletons caught the exact moment it happened. In one of the carriages of this ride, which just looking at makes me feel sick because I cannot deal with rides that just go in a circle, you can find a skeleton that seems to have been mid-selfie when the world ended. The other Fallout 76 skeleton is one of my all-time favourites. In one of the bins at Charleston Station, you can find this. So you can find a skeleton in a bin. I don't know if they were put there before the bombs dropped or after, but it's funny either way. So that's it. If you know of any cool things in games that you think I should check out, then please leave them down in the comments. Big or small, obvious or not obvious. If I think it's cool, I'll include it in a video. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.